is the second one in this series, and in the future I will be creating even more videos about English tenses for you. But for today, let's learn about this tense together, when it is used, how to form it, and then we will practice together. So, if you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe. And today I hope you can learn something, or at least relax while you absorb this information about English grammar. Okay, let's get started. Okay, the first thing we need to discuss is when to use the present continuous. The present continuous. This tense is also called the present progressive. The present progressive. And that is the same exact thing. Some people just call it by a different name. So let's look at some of the most common ways that you will need to use this tense. Okay, number one, when something is happening right now. Something happening right now. For example, I am eating. I am eating. If I am eating right now in this moment, I could say this sentence in the present continuous. I'm not eating right now, but this is just an example. Something I am doing right now is speaking. I am speaking right now in this very moment. At this exact second, I am speaking. So, because this is happening right now, I can use the present continuous tense. Okay, another example of a different way that the present continuous is used is things that are true around now. Maybe not exactly in this moment. Things subject. We instead of I. What would you say for this question? Are we walking? Are we walking? Great job. What about for the pronoun he? He. Is he walking? Is he walking? That is our question. Okay, these are our 3 rules for positive, negative, and questions. Excellent job. The last thing we need to talk about before we practice is the special spelling rule. Let's talk about the special spelling rule. It's actually pretty easy, so it won't be very long. Okay, as you remember, in order to make the present continuous, we need to put the verb in the ing form, just like walking, walking, like we saw before. But there are a couple special spelling rules. For example, if our verb ends in an E, we need to delete the E and then add ing. Delete the E. For example, if the verb is make, then we need to delete the E and then add ing. Making, making. Let's do one more example. Save. This verb ends in E, so we need to drop the E and it becomes saving, saving. Okay, good job. Let's look at the next rule. Okay, for the next rule, if our verb ends in consonant, vowel, consonant, then we need to double the last letter. Double the last letter. Consonant, vowel, consonant. Do you remember what a consonant and a vowel are? Vowels are A, E, I, O, U. These are vowels. Every other letter is a consonant. English has 5 vowels. Everything else is not a vowel. It is a consonant. So, if we have consonant, vowel, consonant, for example, let's say the word, let's do it in red. The word run. This is not A-E-I-O-U, so it's a consonant. U is A-E-I-O-U, so it's a vowel. And N, a consonant. So we have the consonant, vowel, consonant pattern. That means we need to double the last letter, which is N. Running, running. Let's do one more example. Swim. Here we have a W, which is a consonant, an I, Yes, very good. This is because Mary is a girl, so her pronoun is she, and would use is. We could also make this a positive sentence and replace the name with Mary's pronoun. She is working. She is working. Okay, now it's important to talk it's not necessarily as frequent or common in writing as when we are using these positive forms. So let's just focus on the contractions and the positive forms. Okay, let's do another example. He sits. He sits. Can you make this a negative sentence in the present continuous? He's not sitting. He's not sitting. Excellent job. Remember that if this were uncontracted, it would be he is not sitting, but we can smush he is into he's. He's not sitting. We watch. We watch. Can you make this into a positive statement in the present continuous? We're watching. We're watching. Excellent job. Let's do it. And what word should we do? It learns. It learns. Let's make this into a negative form. What would this sentence be in the present continuous? A negative form. It's not learning. It's not learning. Excellent job. Let's do one more. I live. I live. Can you make a positive sentence in the present continuous for I live? I'm living, and then somewhere, let's say in Canada. I'm living in Canada. I am living in Canada. Excellent job with these examples. Let's do a couple more. Let's do the subject you and the verb sleep. Let's make a positive sentence and use the contracted form. Do you know how to make this into the present continuous? You're sleeping. You're sleeping. Excellent job. Let's do they and give and the negative form. Can you make this a sentence in the present continuous? They're not giving. And of course, we would want to add an object like money or whatever it is. But this would be the start. They are not giving with the contracted form of they are. Excellent job. Let's do another one. She tells. She tells. Remember, this word tells is changed for the pronoun she, which is a third person singular pronoun, but the base verb is just tell, and course, such as, is she telling the truth? That would be a complete question. Is she telling the truth? Excellent job. Let's do another one. Let's do it and changes. This is a sentence in the present simple. Let's make it a positive sentence in the present continuous. It's changing. It's changing. Excellent job. Let's do another one. Let's do